Ego.
Hmm.
Someone says the ego is edging God out. Does ego have a definition?
For me, it's just saying I'm feeling myself.
I do have some level of ego.
A man wants to feel accomplished. You want to feel that I'm useful. So it's ingrained in us.
Men, in the name of and the man, becomes unnecessarily focused on themselves.
Because I am a man,
Right.
without substance, without foundation, oh boy, you are a fool.
You know, ego is not so much self-aggrandizement.
No.
It's even more self-awareness.
If you have to tell your wife that I'm your husband, I'm the head of this house, you are really nuts. It's what will make a man that's earning 10,000 ask the wife that's earning 1 million to go and leave the job because it feels emasculated.
Because I'm the man.
Because it's not bringing enough money, because it's the man.
I guess the conversation really would then be, where do you draw the line between good or bad? When does it become too much? When does it become harmful?
All right, so have you heard someone say that man is egoistic or his ego is very big? Today we're going to be discussing ego of a man. Is he a plus? Is he negative? And welcome to Sozo TV, a podcast for men and for those that love men. When we come back, I'm going to introduce the team and then we'll dive into the conversation. So welcome back to Sozo TV. Today, we're looking at ego of a man. Is it a plus? Is it negative? And to have this conversation, we're going to start with the young man, and then he's not old, but the elderly man. Please join me as we say, welcome to Presley and Dewale.
Always good to be here. Always good to
The
be here.
youngest old man.
A. Presley.
There we go. There we go.
Yes, thank you. And then we have our father,
Yes.
our
Oh, God.
Oga,
Yes.
our
You're making me feel old.
suave,
mentor.
our mentor.
You're
Our
making me
mentor.
feel old.
This is
Style
Mr.
connoisseur, not star by every standard.
Oh, God.
Wow. Don't mention. So, Mr. Lausa Dewi, thank you very much for
Glad to be here.
being with us today.
Right.
So, ego.
Hmm.
Someone says the ego is edging God out.
My God.
That's what they said. But does ego have a definition? From your own point of view, what do you think?
I've never thought about that question before. I've
Yeah.
never thought about it that way,
Yeah.
actually.
A simpler way is just, for me, is just saying I'm feeling myself. So you're feeling yourself, It's pride as opposed to self-pride.
Okay.
Pride, believing that you are, I am. Ego is putting yourself in a place on a pedestal to say this is an asking, and then conveying to everybody, whether consciously or unconsciously, that this is me.
Right.
Okay. You may be unconscious because it may be an attitude that you don't even know you have. But it's just a pedestal where you place yourself. The kind of standard you think you have, or you think you are, or what people should think you are. But you may not be that person.
Press, what do you think?
I mean, I'm thinking about this definition and even what you said earlier about edging God out. And I'm starting to wonder if my understanding of the subject for the longest time is warped or not. But, the way I've seen it for the longest time is, I think that almost like everything, it can be a useful tool.
Yeah.
It's just how it's wielded or how it's used. I've actually said a number of times in conversations that I do have some level of ego.
Which is good.
I think everyone should, actually.
It's self-pride.
Yeah, so I guess the conversation really would then be, where do you draw the line between good or bad? When does it become too much? When does it become harmful? But I would say, just speaking to definition, I do think that it's probably your awareness of your what's the word now? Your gifts, your awareness of what you carry, and your confidence to exude it.
Yourself,
your worth, your awareness. That's even something that I'm starting to learn a lot about in recent time. Your awareness of what makes you, your awareness of what makes you a person, and your ability to communicate it and apply yourself to those things. I would say that, from my own understanding, that's what ego allows you. An understanding of your ego, or the definition of that would be all of these things that I just talked about.
Okay, so at what point does ego start being minus? I think we're very apprised to that. You know, we see a lot of things that say this your ego is too much. Your ego is too much. At what point is it
I think it's
minus?
when it become destructive. Now, so self-pride and self-worth is the positive aspect of ego for a man, because a man wants to feel accomplished. You want to feel that I'm useful. You want to feel that I matter. So it's ingrained in us. After all, when God was going to be talking to people in Ephesians 6, couples, God was telling the woman, respect your husband. God didn't say to the woman, God didn't say to the woman, love your husband. But when God was going to talk to the man, he said, love your wife. God didn't say respect your wife. If God understands that inherent in a man is this sense of feeling important. And that's why God was telling the woman to respect. So it's just self-respect, a feeling of self-worth, a feeling that I'm important here, I matter here. I'm not just useless. You use the word efulefu in something somewhere else. Efulefu means that just a feeling that I'm not useless, and that's it. So if that is what you have, it is fine. It drives you to stand in your place as a man. It drives you to want to set boundaries so that you are not insulted. It drives you to want to achieve something, a protector to your family, wants to be called a man indeed, So if that is where you are, it is fine.
Right. You have just mentioned the good part.
Yes, but when you now say, because I am a man, without substance, without foundation, oh boy, you are a fool.
It's an interesting analogy, he shared, because it reminded me of a song. I'm not going to say what song it is, but I want to read a line, some of the lyrics of that song, because I love the example, which is the feminine part and the masculine part. So I would also say that, ego for a man definitely is a plus, even when a woman that is around you or a woman that is with you acknowledges that ego contributes to even her being a better person. That's definitely a plus. The positive side of it. The lyrics of the talks about how now she's talking about the guy, and she says he has a big ego, such a huge ego. I love his big ego. It's too much. He walks like it because he can back it up. And then she goes ahead to say, I'm all of these things because of him. Do you understand? So she's speaking to...
Sorry, you know that...
I see where you're going.
I like him because... please read
let's not worry about the undertone of the message.
No, hold on. He can back it up.
Yes.
Aha.
Leave the undertone. Let's stay on the surface of the...
If you can't back it up, let's
Exactly, which is why I referred to your example. So he can back it all up, and then she's talking about how him being this person also makes her a better partner, a better individual, a better human being. She wants to almost associate herself with him. She loves that she can say, I'm with this person. So that confidence, that plus of it, definitely is what I would say the positive side of having ego. Just something that allows you become better, that allows you grow. I would say
aspire.
Yes, definitely.
There's that part where I believe that men, in the name of being, and the man, becomes unnecessarily focused on themselves. That's where that aspect of edging God out, and then it's all about me, right? It's all about me, and it is me. It's either my way or the highway, right? That's where I believe that ego now becomes excessive.
Yes.
Right? Nobody can be themselves around you because you are the man. If I don't bring, so because I'm the one that brings the money, I'm the one that will also tell you how you should be breathing.
Yeah, Don. At times you don't even bring any money. That's where the fool is. You just believe that because you are the husband,
right,
and you are the man,
and that you are the man, and everybody should not bow and die before you. It's nonsense, and that's when it becomes destructive. You are trying to enforce your authority without substance.
Right.
Now, there is a saying that when you have to say to your co-worker that I'm the boss, you have lost something, because nobody is contesting it with you.
Yeah.
If you have to tell your wife that I'm your husband, I'm the head of this house, You are really not.
Something's already wrong.
You are really not.
Yeah.
You are forcing what is not there. You are really not. Because nobody is contesting headship of the house with you if you stand in your position.
Right.
People think it's money. It's not money. It's common sense. if you don't have common sense, even if you have money and you don't have common sense, you will still be ridiculed as the man of the house. It's standing within your boundaries, standing in your place as a man, doing what is expected of you, leading, coaching, helping, assisting, propping up. It's just throwing. You hear a lot of people that call themselves men. Yeah, like my pastor will say, you have bearded teenagers all over the place calling themselves man. Fully haired and bearded teenagers. With
Six packs and
six
everything.
packs all over the place. And this is a baby. This is not a man. Because of the way you react to things, you react, you throw tantrums. If you don't get what you want, you start throwing tantrums like a baby.
Yeah.
And you call yourself a man. You are just a fool.
I think, like what you have said,
Yes.
that one of the major ways I believe that ego is positive is when you have some level of resilience and ability to come back from an adversity. Now, most times what happens is that men go through adversity. They are able to, wiggle their way around it. However, then instead of, punching life back, they go back to their houses.
They punch their wife.
Right.
Punch their wives, their children, and just instead of using that emotional power that they have to fight back, to lead, to adapt and to be able to deal with the situation, they use that power against the people that are loyal to them. So it's not even it's not only in the homes. We have people that their ego have destroyed their business.
Correct.
Yes,
I know many that. In fact, I remember one that was saying to one of the guys that was just bringing up suggestions and saying, "Boss, if you do this thing like this, this is where we will be. If you do it like this, this is where we will be." And the man looked at him and said, "So you know all these things, and you are still working for me?"
Yes. Meanwhile, he's the one that went to employ that person based on his qualifications to come and help the business.
Skill set.
Yes. I have a similar experience where somebody was telling me that I was talking to a quite accomplished person. And the person was saying, you can't, and say, well, when you build a business of this size, come and give me unsolicited advice. Advice I didn't ask for. Meanwhile, you are paying for someone who has that skill. You're already paying salary for that.
Yeah.
And then you are telling the person that it's unsolicited, something you paid for, and it's unsolicited. So it's when you get to a point where you think everybody around you is a fool, you are the only one that is, and then you are carrying shoulder with that shoulder pad, you are fooling yourself all over the place. You are fooling yourself all over the place. Everybody's talking and saying, shut up. It's what will make a man that's earning 10,000 ask the wife that is earning 1 million to go and leave the job because it feels a masculinity.
Because I'm the man.
Because it's not bringing enough money, because it's the man.
Right.
What kind of nonsense? So ego is not feeling superior to people. Ego is standing within your bounds and staying in your place. It's beyond just having money in your pockets. There are people that have money that are very self-conscious all over the place in Lagos. There are people that don't have 10 kobo, that are very self-assured because they stay in their place. They know their self-worth.
Right.
It's not based on the kind of car they drive. All over Lagos now, if you don't have pilots in front of you and back of you, then you think you are nobody. There are people that are in those cars that are they still feel small.
Right.
In that Rolls Royce, it still feels very small. If it is a newer Rolls Royce, it still feels threatening. It feels unaccomplished.
Let's bring that thing down. iPhone.
iPhone people are different.
So to a large extent, even just merging both of you's most recent comments, the understanding I'm even getting is, ego is not so much self-aggrandizement.
No.
There's even it's even more self-awareness because it's you knowing who you are, your place, and how that pertains to everybody around you. And I really love something you said earlier about how ego is in did you say how you treat people? Because I also think that there's also some ego is a plus when you understand the place of accountability, right? We say things like even some of the most powerful concepts in the world, love, for example, teaches you to think about other people.
Yeah.
We say that the best leaders are servants,
Mm.
right? You know that it's not just about you. There's a part of that awareness that you carry, that the giftings that you have is also for the service of the other person. And we see how that plays out in even a relationship or in a marriage where the man knows I'm the head of the house, yes, but it's not you are the head onto beating the woman, but it's that you can provide leadership, counsel, you can serve in areas that you should because you compliment this woman and you can do these things better than she does.
A
Do you
sheep does
understand?
not make you God.
There we go. So I also
Even
think
God
that
called the Trinity and said, "Let us make man
so he
in our
sought
image." He
He
sought,
sought
he
sought
sought
counsel.
counsel.
It was
not
a
like the man,
collaborative,
He
not
sought
like the one
counsel.
that believes he knows it.
not like a
all.
Harrison.
For-
Those are catchy. If you know, you know.
Definitely you're enjoying the show. Thank you so much for enjoying the show. Would like you to please like, share, and comment. Would love to hear from you. Let's get back to the show. At what points do you know that you are
Stepping
you are
up.
losing
Right.
losing it?
Mm.
What should we say that you should look out for to know that man, this your ego is getting in the way?
That's for yourself.
Yes.
Right.
I think, I think everybody should first be self-aware. I grew up in the village and I saw people treated their wives, children, and all that. We should know our sore points. So, if, for example, when you are in university, they oppressed you, if somebody collected your girlfriend before you had the car, it happens to the best of us,
Right.
because you are
It
working.
didn't happen to
Oh, yeah, that happened to me.
Including you.
Yes, please.
And somebody just stopped by and then AC whistling and then your girlfriend said, "I'll see you later." What can you do? You can't kill yourself. That is sore point for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
So
when,
this thing has started happening.
oh no, it's always happened.
I
Because
thought
it's still happening.
it's because G-Wagon came
no,
back.
it's always happened. It's always happened. Now, you don't kill yourself and think you are unworthy because your girlfriend did that. That's on your girlfriend. So maybe your girlfriend, maybe you two, you are overreaching. Maybe you are looking at things that should belong to your father.
But what if his ego makes him aspire?
You
So
can
can I
aspire.
learn to aspire?
You can aspire, but when it's beyond you, it's beyond you. You don't kill yourself for it.
Oh God!
So
Your aspirations should have measure.
you can aspire, but you don't kill yourself because it's not possible. You don't stretch, and then in stretch you fall off the suit.
There's that Yoruba saying.
Yeah, you don't stretch. You don't
but-
don't go far. You don't stretch. So it's knowing that my worth is not tied to what I have achieved in life. My worth is tied to my importance and the impacts I make, not the houses, not the cars, because when those things leave, you can fail. I use my dad as an example a lot. He woke up a rich man, houses, sawmill, and by evening everything got burnt. So, and I saw this man rise and take up he was a lawyer. He had retired from law practice. He was in business, politician. And then he went back and picked up his gown and went back to courts and fought all the way back to bring back his law office to a point where he could feed his children and his family without stress.
Right.
Now, if his entire worth was tied to those cars, the houses, the sawmill,
the wealth,
that's it now.
Right.
That was his end. But if you know that I'm more than this, so these are gifts that God has given me, but I'm not those gifts. These are byproducts of who God has made me. Is a better option for you. But we are in a place where people have tied that self-worth, and that's why people will kill and steal, and because everything they have is tied to that status. If it's not there, then they die. And then when they see somebody that has 2 G-Wagons, they begin to bow and tremble because this person now has more than me. But when somebody that's less than them comes, they want to step on that person's head because this person now has less. It's a warped way of looking at it, because you are not those things. Your self-worth. And you begin to ask yourself that, if I'm stripped of these things, who am I really?
Right.
Who am I really?
What? So So where should people's worth then be? So someone is listening to us and say, okay, my worth should not be in my cars, my houses, my job, my career. Where should my worth then be?
If I may take a stab at that, I would say it should be in things that things that you can't put a price on.
Like
things like your values, things like your values, things like your dreams and aspirations. And the reason I use these three analogies or these three definitions are they really convey the person that you are at your core. I was listening to a video a while ago and I thought that it was really beautiful. The man said, ask every person you meet 2 simple questions and you would see how it will reveal them. He said, ask them, tell me who you are. When they tell you everything, then ask them the same question again, but say, tell me who you are minus your job, minus how much you make, minus everything you own. Somebody's ability to tell you, my name is X, Y, and Z. I really like to travel. I like to read because it does this and this. You'll find that a lot of people tend to introduce themselves based on, yes. So people will say, I do this, I do that, I have done X, Y, and Z.
You will not blame them because
society.
That's how we believe.
Yes, we've been taught to communicate that the things that you have or the things that you've achieved should be the things you front load as what even puts value on your name. Like I hosted an event a while ago and it's a very funny story that I tell people sometimes, and depending on who I am telling it to, they don't even believe me, right? And we're to introduce a particular guest. Right. Now, the law of the trade as an MC, I'm sure you know this too, is, you want to get the right portfolio of the person. So you call them out properly, you give them this pizzazz and all of that good stuff. And we did get it for this individual. He had a very long resume. So we sort of abridged it a bit and he didn't have any problem, at least his personal assistant. So we read out the portfolio. It was about 6 titles. And then we said, please put your hands together for, Mr. Doctor, this X, Y, and Z. Everybody, loud ovation and everything. We didn't see anybody. I'm sure it's somewhere around. Please put your hands together. The person that we were trying to introduce was literally right there, just a couple of yards out. And the reason he didn't come up was because we missed out one thing out of the 10 portfolios that we had read.
Sometimes you say chief, but it's a double chief.
It's a double chief. Or it's chief and it's doctor in this and that. And I'm thinking exactly, what is the level of this vanity that all of these no longer qualify until this cherry on the cake?
Okay, so that's...
some people have seen life as that. That's their own. It feeds their... I almost want to say ego.
It's the ego.
It feeds that ego.
So that's, for me, is what drives a lot of people into toxic masculinity, where their ego is so much that they use that ego to try to dominate other people.
Yes.
To the extent of physical abuse, psychological abuse.
You have to listen to me.
It must
be my way every time.
It must be my way, people are trembling around you, and that's what gives them joy.
Yeah.
Because that's what keeps me high. So that's a level of toxic.
Dopamine.
Yeah, it's dopamine, but it's a very, very...
It's weird.
terrible.
I want to ask a question, and maybe just as we wrap up, and it's something that I ask myself a lot too, especially in recent time, I'll be honest, because I've also started to do a lot of research around just self-awareness. I thought that I understood what it was, but I'm learning that there are even dimensions to it. And I think that it will be useful for somebody watching or even viewing to, from time to time, ask yourself questions like, what is your worth? But even more importantly, ask yourself, who am I? Minus all of these things that society has said to attach to your person, minus your job, minus how much you make, minus all the things that you've achieved. If you strip yourself of all of those things, can you talk about yourself, and still be excited? I was talking to a therapist a while ago and he said that sometimes all that any human being needs is stand in front of a mirror and praise yourself. Outside of your job, your achievement, just tell yourself good things. I'm really intelligent. I'm a very smart person. I'm an asset to my family, to my friend group. He said that you would find that most people are unable to do those things if they're not talking about their job, their money, or the things they've achieved. Just praise yourself outside of those things. And, the first time I tried it, it was right.
It was difficult.
It was difficult. It was
What
difficult
did you say?
because you start from things
What
like,
did
I'm
you say?
very intelligent, I'm smart, I'm a very handsome man, I have great taste in this and that. Before you say one or
What
two
is
things,
this and
you
that?
start to
I want
slip.
to know what
No, no,
that
no.
this
You start to slowly slip into, you know, I've done transactions up to 20 million naira, 200 million. I'm like, wait, hold on, come back. Let's start again. Okay, I love to travel. I like to see sights, the intangible things.
Intangible.
I do think it's an exercise that the more people, you know, engage, the more would actually start to see.
I think all of us have to get to a point where we ask ourselves questions. You know, I worked in a commercial bank earlier in my career, and that commercial bank was taken over by Central Bank of Nigeria. And the lessons I learned, I've gone through like 3-4 mergers in my career. And lessons I've learned is that whatever you are is just temporal.
Whatever you have
is temporal. Or whatever you are.
Whatever you are.
Is temporal.
That's with regards to
in
your
terms
position.
Of career position is just temporal.
Right.
Now, the first experience I'll probably just share is we were in the office and my boss called a town hall meeting and said there's a challenge with Central Bank of Nigeria that may have consequences and all that. And as we were talking, his phone rang and he just left. Less than 30 minutes after he left, EFCC came into the building. And they practically busted his office was a security door.
Mm.
They busted the door because they thought he was in, but he had left. They thought he was in there. And after they left, the entire bank was in disarray. After they left,
I can imagine.
After they left, I went downstairs to where he parked this car, 001, where he parked this car. I remembered his ID card number is 001 because he was the founder of the bank. He was the one that employed everybody. And he ran out. That changed my perspective forever.
Wow.
Now, because he didn't come as an employee. He came as a founder and he built from ground up. And then he got to a height where all of us believed that he was invincible. And he just disappeared. The second experience I had, I worked in a discount house, you know. We were there, and then CBN just brought out a rule one day to say, because banks own discount houses, they said no bank should have investments in any other business except its core banking. So which meant that all the shareholder banks had to divest. And that led us to being bought by just one bank. We turned to a merchant bank. And then all my bosses that drove in big cars the week before, they just had to report to somebody else now. And then some of them had to leave. Some had to step down from MD to ED, you know. And I just looked at her and I said, you know, the important thing, my wife does not see me any different. My children don't see me, and probably the Church of God does not see me any different. But in this, my career that I have put 18 hours, 12 hours in every day, I'm no longer the managing director. I'm just somebody reporting to another person. So when you understand that, and you know that everything is temporal, you begin to look at what is important in life.
Right.
And then that's where you put your ego in check, because this one that is pushing you and making you feel important is just one switch.
And everything will
And then when it happens, what are you really?
Right.
Whose I am changes everything.
Correct.
100%.
Whose I am.
Correct.
Knowing that I am loved by my family members and ultimately by God changes
beyond
my
what
perspective about me.
Mm.
Now, you talked about, you know, being able to declare over yourself and, you know, just to take note of the things that makes you you. One of the things I believe that if more men will embrace, that will change their lives and help them to put their excessive ego in check, is accepting the love that God gives to them. Because, you know, men believe that, oh, it's women that want love. But, you know, if you then ask, what is a man amassing all this work for? It's so that somebody will accept it.
To me. Oh, yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but there is someone that does not need all those things to accept you. Why don't you give the person a chance?
Right.
Right? So, knowing that I am ultimately loved by God, right? Knowing that my family loves me, that my children love and respect me is enough compared to I need to own the World Trade Center, need to be
respected.
In fact, some people go out of their way to be on Time magazine.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
they do. They
Right.
go out of their way to
Right.
be on Time magazine,
Forbes list and
Forbes
the like.
list, and
Yeah.
in fact, a number of them do all kinds of shady things,
And they will be miserable if they don't appear.
Yeah.
Miserable.
and then even some have appeared, and then
But then the cost of getting there.
in years to come, we now found out what brought them there. So you then start asking, was it worth it? Right. So, as we bring this to a close, I want us to perhaps, is there anything you would like to say to a young man? Let's focus on young people now, because I think the older people are deceiving a lot of them with a lot of. Is there anything you want to say to a young man with regards to his ego, his self-respect, and what he needs to begin to do so that he doesn't fall into that trap of toxic masculinity?
Right. I would say self-awareness is very important. Find out who you are. Ask yourself questions, right? But more importantly, and at the risk of sounding like a pastor, I want to share one of my favorite scriptures in the Bible, Ephesians 2:2, but then the NLT version. It says, "You let the world that knows not the first thing about life teach you how to live." Right? There would always be pressure from outside. There would be somebody whispering in your ear what it should be or not. But your ability to sit with yourself, sit with your creator, and I love the example you shared, sit with people that genuinely love you. Ask questions, analyze yourself from their own lens. You would come to the true definition of who you are. And once you capture that, keep it. Because that's going to be your anchor for the rest of your life. Beautiful.
So for me, I think it's focusing on what is important from inception for a young man. So a lot of young men think that it's blowing that is important now because of
So for those that are out there that don't know what blowing.
Yeah, so when you say you want to hammer, and it's
sorry,
because
what
of,
does hammer mean?
you want to make a lot of money,
Okay.
you want to be influential, and it's because of what the experience they've had. And I go back to secondary school, university again, where the son of a rich man has taken over your girlfriend, and you feel that if I had more money, this would not have happened.
Right.
And then you want to kill yourselves. And then when you now have that money, the ego that I am now here, I've arrived, you begin to feel now more important than those people that don't now have up to you. And that's what drives you. I think what everybody needs to do is to find out what is important to them early on. And then begin to focus and work towards achieving those things that are important to them. Like I always say, I've seen a lot of rich men, when they want to go, or when they are in their 70s or 80s, the career is no longer important to them. They want to play with their grandchildren. They want to be able to travel and sit down with their children. But those things don't happen again because in the process of maintaining that career house, they've abandoned the things that would have made those possible in their later years. So now, what they should have gotten for free, they now struggle, try to buy with money, give them gifts, buy houses for them and all that. Like somebody said to his father, I love your money, but I hate you.
My goodness.
That is deep, The man had a lot of money, said, I love your money and what your money can do for me, but I hate you because you are not what I consider to be a father. And that was deep.
Wow.
In the mind of the man, he was doing all that to give this person a good life.
Don't you know I'm doing it for?
Yes, but the guy that doing it for has a lot of hatred because the father didn't appear anywhere when he was growing up. He was not available. So my advice to a young man is, why don't you want to sit down and ask yourself, what is important to me? What are the internal things what do I want to be known for? Write your epitaph when you are still like 25, that when I'm 80, what should be on my tombstone when I'm 95? And then work for 60 years of your life. Work towards getting what you want to be on your tombstone. And then you'll be able to put your ego in check. You will know what is important and what is not. And if you can do that, I think life will be kind to you.
Wow. So in conclusion, it's important for us to note that your ego is the two-edged sword. It has its pros, it has its cons. It can cut you it can protect you. Just make sure that as you live your life, that your ego is not a weapon that is used against you. It's something that you're using to protect yourself and to protect the people you love. And so with that, we've come to the end of this episode. Like we always say, please like, share, and tell someone about the Suzu podcast. And we would like to hear from you also. And until then, we'll see next time. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Peace out.